Think about your treatments as a journey. You don't have to listen to anyone who says it's all to be done in one session.
So what's your best tip for treating the frontalis?
The first thing is you've got to assess each patient individually, and you've got to start by putting the areas where you don't want to inject. That's probably the easiest way not to mess up, is to start out by deciding where you aren't going to inject, and that normally makes it much easier to decide where you are going to inject. We actually have a great download on this, which you can get in the link down below. But essentially, it's that safety margin lower down so you don't cause a brow ptosis, about 2 centimeters from the orbital rim, and that should prevent most heaviness. It's more complex than that, so do get the download. You also want to decide where it's going to be a waste. So if there's an aponeurosis there and you can see there's no muscle, don't waste your toxin injecting there. By the time you've drawn on all the areas where you don't want to inject, there's usually a relatively small area where you do want to inject, and that makes things a lot easier. The second really important thing I suggest you do is think about your treatments as a journey. You don't have to listen to anyone who says it's all to be done in one session. I mean, you can get to that point when you've been injecting the same patient for 2 or 3 cycles. You'll know exactly where to inject that patient, and you shouldn't be following them up every single time. But on the first time you meet a new patient, particularly if there's something atypical about their forehead, expect to do it in stages. And if you're going to do it in stages, the first step is you make your best guess, but you leave room for adding more, improving your results. Because if you try and get it all right in one, you're a bit more likely to cause an overtreatment, so that's loss of an eyebrow arch or a ptosis, and there's just fewer options at that point. It's better if you leave room for a top-up than if you're trying to then correct a side effect because you've tried to do it all in one go in your first treatment.